Our river was designated the most endangered river in America last year. South Carolina is completely at the will of its upstream neighbor, North Carolina, with how they deal with their own water. And really, it's showing us all in this region that we need to start thinking more about how we use water and what water we leave in our rivers for them to continue to be a river. Our 225-mile Catawba River, which includes Lake Wylie, what we're working on today, provides drinking water to nearly 2 million people. I am the Catawba River Keeper with the Catawba River Keeper Foundation, and my job is to be the voice for this river. I'm out on the boat at least once a week. We are out getting samples at least once a month. I don't think enough people realize what they're boating through, what they're swimming in, and what's entering the water that they call their tap.
The water feels okay, but when I look at the water, I wonder what I'm swimming in.
What's that thing floating next to you?
That's a good question.
For my science fair project, I'm doing a toxicity test, and I'm going to be using water samples that I got from Mountain Island Lake. I found out about coal ash ponds in a magazine article called One Man in a River. My dad emailed Dave and asked him if he could take us out on his boat to collect water samples at Mountain Island Lake. How many types of chemicals are in the lake because of coal ash, and what are their names?
Well, Catawba River Keeper Foundation sampled the outfall that we're going to right now from Riverbend Steam Station into Mountain Island Lake. And we sampled the water back in April of 2010, and we found concentrations of arsenic, of barium, selenium, and mercury in that water. And when she contacted me to get out and to get to the coal ash ponds on the Catawba to collect a sample, I said absolutely yes, because she's giving us information that we didn't have prior to her doing it. Daphnia and Cereodaphnia are the primary organisms used for toxicity testing. Fathead minnows, Pimephames primilius, are also used.
How many lakes in North Carolina are being affected by coal ash ponds?
There are 3 lakes with coal ash pond discharges: Lake Norman, Mountain Island Lake, and Lake Wylie. In North Carolina, I believe, you'll have to fact check me on this, there are 17 ash ponds total. Some of those other ash ponds discharge into lakes, but some of them discharge into rivers. We sampled fish tissue back in April as well, and we found arsenic and mercury and selenium in that fish tissue sample. But I believe that your sampling is going to give us an even better indication of the impacts of coal ash waste and of the water effluent and the impacts to wildlife. So I'm glad you're doing it.
What inspired you to work with the coal ash problem?
The coal ash spill in Tennessee of December 2008, the nightmare before Christmas, really kind of put this as a national issue of making sure we were protecting our rivers and people's drinking water and wildlife throughout our country from the heavy metal laden waste of coal ash. Really propelled this to the forefront, and having this heavy metal laden water discharged directly to what we call our drinking water supply really is just absurd. And as the Catawba River Keeper, I think it's a salient point brought to the public's attention and made a primary issue. So tonight we've got just concerned citizens here to tell the state and the Division of Water Quality to issue permits that protect their drinking water supply to protect the fish and the aquatic organisms in the Catawba River from contamination by heavy metals.
My name is C.D. Collins, and I live at 116 Catawba Cove Lane in Belmont, North Carolina. I've been there for 50 years. I've seen a lot of changes. Some of them I'm not very happy with. I personally have seen fish kills at the Allen Steam Plant hot hole, they call it, and it truly is hot. I've seen over 300 and some 30-pound carp dead and dying floating at the hot hole. Talking about the stinkingest, rankest thing you ever seen in your life. To you, I'm putting in blunt terms. Second subject I want to address with you is ash, and the ash ponds unlined, and us having the water table fluctuating up and down. I'd like to see these ponds lined. I'd like to see them done away with completely if possible.
Yeah, do you know what's behind the big dam? Coal ash waste.
Oh, okay.
So all the ash, bottom ash, fly ash, all that. Remember the big ash spill in Tennessee a couple of years back?
No, I don't remember.
December 2008.
This one's going to be the bottle that I'm collecting all the samples that are closest to the discharge area. I'm going to get one big bottle, and then these are going to be the ones that are a bit spread out from the discharge area.
So really, essentially, these big grassy burbs are the coal ash dikes that are holding back acres upon acres of coal ash waste. Tons upon tons, thousands of tons, likely millions of tons of the coal that didn't burn, all those heavy metals, all that fly and bottom ash is sitting in a big pond. And essentially the water from those ponds are stemmed right off the top, come right down this flume, right into the Catawba River.
So far, all the Daphnia are put inside each of the little containers with each water sample, and so far I've already found a couple dead, probably from all the chemicals that were in the lake.
She has a control. She's got different concentrations of the effluent from different sample locations. She is following the scientific method.
Based on the results, the water sample inside the effluent had more Daphnia deaths than any point in the lake. Inside the effluent would be pure coal ash water. This may indicate acute toxicity in the water flowing into Mountain Island Lake. After 8 hours, some of the deaths were the same, but after 16, 24, and 48, the Daphnia started to die out quickly. The control contained 10 Daphnia in culture water. There were no deaths observed in the control for 8, 16, 24, and 48 hours. My teachers were very proud of my science project, but most people's response was the same, that they had never heard about coal ash ponds before.
Oh, it failed. We'd have just catastrophic inundation of Mountain Island Lake with coal ash waste, with heavy metals, solids. We wouldn't know what to do. We know now from catastrophes that have happened in our own country and in Eastern Europe and Hungary that the waste from these coal ash ponds have catastrophic consequences not only to wildlife but to humans and to drinking water supplies. And that's the reason that we feel the federal government needs to act to ensure the safety and stability of all these dams. Anything can happen. You don't know what Mother Nature's going to bring, and you don't know what wind, water, fire, and earth can do when they're all put together.